I'm at 3213 Birchall Drive in Beaver Creek, Dayton, Ohio. Doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Our access point is the vent stack on the roof here. Trying to make sure that the lens is clear here. But there should be an outside clean out somewhere, but I think it's been covered over with landscaping and or buried. It does come out the front left corner based off of where in the crawl space where it exits the house. That is all PVC once you get down to that point. And so what we're hoping for here is to be able to push this line out all the way out to the front corner here and get on down, and if nothing else, we'll hopefully be able to find where that clean out is on the outside if we can't get all the way to the main from here. So you can tell it's all PVC in the house. Originally this was probably on septic in the rear. Based off of 61, if the house was built in 61, this definitely would not have been, PVC wasn't around yet. And so the stack here is copper, which would be normal for that age. And then we have copper here with a clean out, it looks like, or a tie-in. And we're out 50 feet, and then we are back into, it's like PVC. And this would make a lot of sense here as we are going into from the PVC into clay. This would have been the original line, and it looks like there may be a clean out right here. So we'll continue on down the line. Hopefully we can get it all inspected from this point. And then on the way back I could always try to stop and locate that access point. There's a little bit of an offset joint back there, and we'll take a look at that when we pull back also. Clay is a normal material for this age, a house. The most common thing we see with clay is just root intrusion, because if you watch, you'll notice that there are seams, which is one here, and they're about every 3 feet or so. So there are a lot of sections of pipe, a lot of connections, and so over the years you'll have a little bit of root intrusion because as I speak about it, due to just the packing in those things, in those joints breaking down a little bit, and so it starts allowing a little bit of roots in. I don't see a tree that close. There may have been one that's taken down, but you know, at 80 feet here we do have some root intrusion. So we will mark that. It's not fully in the flow line yet, but it is something that will need at least a chemical treatment every now and then to make sure that it's kept at bay and doesn't cause any major backups or catch, you know, debris as it goes by. And so, like I mentioned, that is very, very common to find tree roots in clay lines. It just needs some maintenance every now and then. Usually for something like this you could do like a chemical treatment, which we call it Root X, and that would and usually you do that about once a year, and it keeps the roots at bay. And I think in this you may not even have to do much more than a couple years if there's no trees close enough to allow those roots to grow any further. So it's starting to get really hard to push here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the house and we're going to start running some water. We're going to see if that helps carry the camera down the line a little bit better. And if nothing else, we can also try to pull back and access one of those outside cleanouts if we can't get much further. So again, I'm going to pause the video and we're going to locate where we are and run some water. Okay, we've got some water running. We're going to see if we can get this to move a little further. There we go. A bit harder to see out here with the sun on the roof, but it's like everything so far is looking really, really good. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner how much of a pitch this has. We're dropping at a 45-degree angle almost. So that's why you got a little bit of that stuff on the front of the camera. And then that's just that. It's like a little bit of roots getting in there. It has to be the tree in the front yard. It doesn't look like we're within the drip edge of that tree, but roots can go a long way during a drought. So, but it's very, very minimal. I mean, that's at about 115. And again, that was a small enough amount to where it should be easily handled with a chemical. Be coming up on the main here shortly based off of the footage. And there we are. So we've made it all the way to the main, and overall the line looked really good. Structurally the line looked good. You just had a couple spots of some really minor root intrusion, and so I mean that's again pretty normal for this age and material pipe. So we want to go ahead and have to pause the video for a second. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull back. Again, the only thing I really saw to mention is some root intrusion, little tiny bit of root intrusion, which I said was very, very common. So we're obviously going to watch all this as we pull back. And the fact that the water is running the way it is, with my camera in it, and it's not obscuring the view, shows that how well the line is flowing. The lens on my camera is only about a half an inch off the bottom of the pipe. And so as that water is escaping, it kind of lets you know that there's, it would highlight any low spots or any areas. And it's normal usually to at least have a little bit of coverage on the lens when you have this much water running. But in this case, the water is escaping wonderfully. We know we have that little bit of water at that turn down, or a little bit of roots, excuse me, at the turn down, right around here. And we go right there, kind of hanging down there. And that should, the water's moving at such a high speed in this spot. You may be able to have it cleaned, but, and also, it's kind of a hard spot there because even the foam may not catch, or it may continue past it just based off of how fast the water is running right here. But that is at about 115 feet. It will be noted on the report. It's not down in the flow line. As you can see, it's not obstructing flow right now, but it is something that you'll want to pay attention to in the future. But all this clay looks really good. I mean, structurally, this looks wonderful. The line looks great structurally. A little bit there, about 80 feet. So 79, 80 feet, and 115 are the only two spots with really minor root intrusion. Maybe a little bit more right there. Yeah, a little bit more right there. 75, 75, 80, 115. So there is more than one spot here, but these are very, very, very minor. Like I said, you could really you couldn't even have this cleaned because they'd have a hard time even getting to that. Without access, which I will add, or I will stop and try to mark where that clean out is. And that way, in the future, if needed, you'd be able to get access to the line and clean it. But for the most part, I mean, if you put some Rudex down here once a year, if it doesn't even, I don't even think Rudex would catch most of that stuff, just because it would probably flow right on past it because it's so minimal. It's 59. And these are very, very small amounts of roots, and I think there used to have been a tree on this front corner that is no longer there, which they say tree roots can grow for 5 to 10 years after a tree is gone, depending on the type of tree. And you can see right here, this is the transition between the PVC and the clay where it was replaced. And there's a little bit of an offset there, but nothing major. It's pretty normal when they connect clay, or when they collect PVC or connect PVC to any other material. You can't glue it, so they have to use like a rubber boot. And so it's pretty common to see a little bit of a offset or something there, where one side or the other drops a little bit when they backfill on top of it. It's very normal to see, and the speed with an 8-degree pitch here. The speed of the water will easily overtake that, and there's no solid buildup or anything in this area that would give me any concern for any reason whatsoever. So we're going to pull back a little bit. We're going to look for that clean out. There's one right there. I believe this is a clean out, but it's hard because it's dropping so drastically. I believe there was another spot further out, if I could get over here to see it. It's just really hard to see when I was coming through here. Well, I'm gonna go back and forth, and hopefully we can see that point, but I don't see it. And see, sometimes there's some discolorations on the top of the pipe, and with the sun, you think it's a clean out in one direction, and then as you're pulling back, you notice it's not. It's just the actual pipe there. And so I don't see one. So here is something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to go out and locate this spot and see if we can find a clean out. Hopefully this is just outside the house. Okay, so it is marked with a green flag, but you won't be able to see it unless you go behind the ornamental grass on the front left corner of the house. That's if you're facing the house. There's that first little thing of ornamental grass along the right side, along the left side of the house. And the one that is closest to the corner there's a green flag almost right in between it and the house, and that is approximately where that clean out access is. But they had put the grass like right on top of it, and so you could dig that up, but you would probably have to remove at least part of that grass there to gain access to it. But I mean, really the only thing I saw at all was a little tiny bit of root intrusion. It was all very minor. It wasn't obstructing flow at all at this point. And so the line looked really good. I think the heaviest spot of roots was at 115 feet, and that was well above the flow line. Again, like I mentioned, you could do you could try to do some root X or something, in a few months or something like that, to try to get it with a chemical and burn it back. Or you could uncover that clean out, and you could also have the line inspected in a few years. I mean, that would be probably the biggest suggestion would be to maybe use a chemical for a few years, based off of how far away all the trees are, and then have the line re-inspected after a few years and see if the roots are even there. You may be able to get rid of them, and if with nothing close, there'd be no way for it to, no other roots to get back in the line. And like I said, it looks like there was an old tree there that was almost over top of the line that is no longer there, and so these may be remnants of older trees that just haven't died off yet. So, but the line structurally looks great. It's open and flowing, and just a little bit of maintenance needed. So that'll end the inspection at 3213 Birchall Drive in Beaver Creek, Dayton, Ohio.